Aizen at the end of this chapter of Bleach. All according to plan. Before I go any further, into details about this chapter of Bleach, by far one of my favorites in recent weeks. Like, this chapter, Aizen at the end, dude, Aizen. Freaking Aizen is probably coming back, and he is probably going to help out Soul Society and fight against Bach. So, I'm looking forward to that entire fight. Now, this chapter of Bleach, a lot of things happen. Like, we find out about this one-eyed god in this chapter about Ukitake's past. Like, for instance, Ukitake, we find out more about his disease, we find out when he should have died, stuff like that in this chapter, and this was more of a fleshing out of his character, like characterization and character backstory, and I'm glad how Kubo finally dived into this character's backstory, and we actually get to see, you know, what really happened in the past. So, Ukitake, when he was 3, he was dying from a lung disease, or like it was before he was probably even 3 at that, but he was dying from a lung disease. And his parents, they went to a bunch of doctors, and they were superstitious. One day, they decided to pray to a one-eyed god, and Ukitake was then healed. But in the act of doing this, Ukitake's body was sacrificed. His lungs were sacrificed. The lungs that were diseased were sacrificed to this god, and the god went inside of Ukitake. And as time progressed, as it continued to keep him alive, it was eating away at his internal organs, his lungs. And eventually, it spread to everything else. And it was said that this one-eyed god is actually the right hand of the Soul King. So, Ukitake, at this moment, with this chapter, he is being set up as the new Soul King, to take the Soul King's place and keep the world in order. Now, I don't know necessarily how I feel about Ukitake all of a sudden just being the right hand of the Soul King. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, the overall setup, the way it was done in this chapter, I have to say, I liked it. I really did like this chapter for a lot of different reasons. But one thing I really do have to say that was good about this chapter was getting to see the overall breakdown of everybody in Soul Society. Like, when you saw how everybody's freaking out, like, you saw the Quincy's and all that, they were looking at the world being destroyed, and they're like, Bach, my lord, do you really want to destroy Soul Society with us? Like, was this your plan all along? I mean, now everybody's starting to see the true colors of Bach. And so, yeah, it's really cool getting to see how this chapter progressed, along with getting to see, you know, how Ukitake is the right hand of the Soul King. Like, very shocking news. It really is. I mean, something shady has been going on here and building up, but to see how it was finally revealed and stuff like this in this chapter, I was like, damn. So, one thing I want to say is Urahara, his face reaction to what Ukitake did in this chapter was surprising. It was like Urahara knew of this one-eyed god that was, you know, the right hand of the Soul King. Like, let me explain. So, soon as Ukitake brings up this, like, one-eyed god, he's like, have you ever heard of it? You have it to Urahara, he's like, yeah, I've heard of something about this. So, like, there's legends on it in this, like, you know, town away from here and all that. There's legends on this, you know, god. And as Ukitake started explaining that as the right hand of the Soul King, you saw Urahara's eyes just, like, freeze. Like, he was shocked. And it seemed like something instantly clicked in his mind, like he had a plan or something like that. So, once again, Kubo adding very obvious signs something is going on here with Urahara for the past, like, 6 or 7 chapters. Urahara's had, like, these unique faces that prove that he's thinking of something else is going down, stuff like that. Very shady stuff, but that's pretty much what happened there. So, the chapter overall, in a nutshell, it's a simple chapter, very good though, a lot of beef, a lot of awesome, excellent content in this chapter, and I have to say, it was good. Like, I have no disappointments with this chapter of Bleach. Cannot wait to see what is going to happen next week, because if Aizen's going to be getting out, I wonder, is he going to really try to help everybody? I mean, the world's being destroyed, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, Aizen wanted to take out the Soul King. I mean, from what we can assume, he wanted to take out the Soul King and stuff like that. And from the way Aizen's form was, he looked like another Soul King. So, maybe Aizen might try to be the Soul King. I mean, we have no idea. Just the point of it is, very good chapter. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.